We're with Fury FC head coach Marc Dos Santos recapping the squad's inaugural season in the North American Soccer League. Mark, your first game in Fort Lauderdale, you outplayed, outchanced, outpossessed your opponent, but fell 2-0 to the Strikers. What did you and your players take away from that first ever game in the North American Soccer League?
I remember like if it was yesterday. We felt good about it because it was our first game, and you want to wet your feet in the league, and you're always, okay, how are we going to be compared with the others? And yes, although we lost that game in Fort Lauderdale, I remember the first half we completely dominated Fort Lauderdale. We deserved to get out after the first half being up in the score, and we were down in the score. And we left Fort Lauderdale that day in our first game with a feeling of we could be here, we could be in this league, and we could beat teams in this league. So that was very important mentally, but we were also hungry to get points.
A week later, you play your first ever home game. Can you talk about the emotions around that pro game? Of course, like that first goal in club history scored by Vini Dantas. Can you just talk about everything that came out of that day?
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement. One, we were playing the best team in the league in Minnesota. Carleton was a fantastic afternoon, cold but very good afternoon, packed. It was a great place to be, and the game was very exciting. I remember we were very nervous in the first half. We respected a lot Minnesota. They dominated that first half, to be fair. We were able, they scored first. We were able to tie the game in the second half, where we came out more confident. We came out and with more freedom. It was very exciting to see the Ottawa Fury scoring the first goal. And after we were going towards our first point in the league, against a big team, and comes that situation of that injury time, 96th minute or 97-minute free kick, where Ramirez scored, and we felt it was very unfair. So it was still another game where we felt that we were good, we were competing with the best teams in the league, but yet we were looking for that first point that came the weekend after.
What did your team learn from the two games in the Amway Canadian Championship that you can take away and better prepare yourselves for the 2015 tournament?
Yeah, first we learned that we weren't ready for it. Edmonton had 3 or 4 Amways in their belt. We had one, and we had 0. That was our first one, and we had a month preparation. So I don't feel that as a team we were ready to play the Amway. And it comes a little bit early in the competition. It comes right away. We felt the 0-0 tie was a fair tie, but you're going to Edmonton with a 0-0 tie, and we weren't good in the game in Edmonton. And I don't think that Edmonton was very good. I think that we were very poor.
How difficult was it to ready your squad week in and week out during the spring season? When you had so many changes to the lineup due to injuries?
Yeah, we didn't want that. We didn't want to have so many changes in the lineup. We didn't want to always be turning around the team like that. It happened because I think it had a lot to do with the surface where we were playing and training every day. Because it's different if you're Minnesota or San Antonio that comes to play one game in Carleton, hates it or doesn't like it, goes back home and trains home. Us, we were there every day, and I think it came into the player's leg, and it created a lot of uncomfortable situations, and it wasn't good for the team. And those injuries didn't help, but yet, the character of the team, the personality of the players still kept the team in a 6th spot in the spring season.
How difficult was it to go a majority of that spring season without Tom Heineman and Nicky Patterson in the squad?
I always think that the most important thing is the team, you understand? And, Vinny, every time he had to play in Tommy's place, he did very well. Carl had to play as a number 9 a couple of times. He did very well. And the truth is that after those Tommy and Nicky came into the lineup, and the team didn't do much better than what we did in the spring season. So I think the team is always the most important. Look at Tony. He came in for Nicky that got injured, and he was the most important player of the Ottawa Fury in the spring season. So I don't look it as individual. I look it as a whole. And yes, Tommy and Nicky are important for the squad, but not more important than the team.
Two-part question for you. What was your overall impression of your team through the 9-game spring season? And second part of the question is, do you feel that the mid-season break came at a bad time for your squad?
It came at a terrible time for our squad because we were feeling good. We were getting rhythm. Our preseason again, our training camp preseason had a lot of ups and downs. If you remember the first 2-3 weeks, a lot of players were not in yet due to visa situation, due to contracts, due to getting released from other clubs. And slowly guys started to get in, but we didn't have a preseason from day 1 to day 30 with the same guys, and that wasn't easy. And after, when you start getting your rhythm during the spring season, well, you have a break of a month or a little bit more than 1 month. I think it was 5 weeks, right? I never saw it in soccer. I only saw it in the NASL. I think it was something very negative in the league. The league should review that. It shouldn't be something that happens again. And the teams get stronger. Some teams were able to invest a little bit in the market of July, including Indianapolis, and that didn't help our squad. So you come back, and the first game you go to Edmonton, you get a good tie away in a tough place to play. And after comes that stretch, the most negative stretch of our season, where we have 4 games in a row that we lose, most of them by 1 goal, tight games, but you end up losing them. And after, I feel that when we came to TD Place and created a lot of good habits, and we trained there, and the players got used to our home, well, that's when we started to get that role where we made fans and ourselves dream about maybe we could make the playoffs, So I think that's key moments in the season.
Thanks, Marc.
Thank you very much.